Bhumi, it's impossible to ignore the fact that world over, and certainly in India, the entertainment business, the film business, is in a state of sort of flux in a post-pandemic world. Films aren't working. The kind of films that were working aren't anymore. There's this whole question about whether, whether a certain kind of film should even be made for theaters anymore. I think it's fair to say that nobody knows anything at this stage. As an actor, when you're reading new material, when you're contemplating what to do next, when you're charting a career, how are you feeling? I mean, what's going on in an actor's head, given the current climate when no one knows anything? I mean, is one going to be relegated only to small screens, or, only to, shouldn't say small screen, but only to streaming screens in a post-pandemic world if one isn't doing those event kind of tentpole films? I mean, are these genuine concerns for actors, for young actors like yourself?
I mean, there is so much noise about this around us all the time. We have our teams, we have people that care about our careers, that are constantly like, no, this is how the wave is going to be, just kind of succumb to it. But I feel like you kind of need to find the strength within. I completely refuse to believe that the big screen magic is going to die. It can't happen. It won't happen. A community watching experience cannot be compared to what happens at home. Am I not a supporter of, different digital platforms? Correct. I absolutely am, because it has been so disruptive that the content that we see on digital platforms it's completely challenged our existence. Right.
But what if theatrical becomes the exclusive privilege of a certain kind of film and a certain level of movie star?
I don't think that's true. There was a Norway versus Mrs. Chatterjee that just came in. It was a small film with like Rani, Mukerji, who we all love, and the film has done decent numbers. So let's not ignore the fact. The point is we need good cinema. Sure. I think that's what we are lacking. I feel like we have disappointed our audiences and we need to win their trust back. I don't think, I feel like it's a wave, right? Before, like a couple of years ago, it can be a Bareli Ki Barfi or some of my films, the mid-section films that they didn't exist. Yeah. It was we were again stuck between like, I hate saying it, but like either you were a niche art house film or you were like this massive pot boiler. So that middle segment didn't exist. But then with good stories, with strong stories, with like talent with newer talent, we kind of recreated that segment. And I feel like that's exactly what's going to happen. We need good films. But Badhai though. For example, we were the first film that came out after the lockdown on a 50% occupancy, with no night shows, with Delhi completely shut. We did somewhere in the mid-20s. At that point, we were like, oh my God, I don't know. But today, when I look at it at hindsight, there aren't the bigger pot boilers also that have done those numbers. So that kind of gave me the confidence that, no, if you have a good story, if you are true to what you're going to give your audiences, they will come in and watch it.
Right. So you're not worrying about numbers when you're reading a script. You're not worried about is this going to travel? Is this not? Is this going to go to streaming, straight to streaming?
Never, not at all. Like obviously the environment now is different. So, the parameters of what we think, oh, will this happen? Will this go? But even back then, right, when my choices were different, I only went by the content and the material that excited me. And I feel the only way I will survive as an actor and I'll thrive as an actor is if I'm true to what I enjoy doing.